All right, so this is going to be a quick review of graphing lines. I'm going to do it a couple of different ways. Most of the time, we're going to use y equals mx plus b, which is our slope-intercept form, because this is the easiest, and you can always transform your equation so that it is in this form by solving for y. That just means that the y is by itself on the left-hand side. So again, the idea here is that this is your slope, the m. Remember, slope is rise over run. Or y over x. It's the y direction over the x direction. We actually call it delta y over delta x because the delta is a Greek letter that means the change in, but that doesn't really matter super much. The b is your y-intercept. That means it's always going to be on the y-axis. It also means that the x is always 0 here, so like it's going to be the point 0, comma b. So let's do a couple of examples. And I'll also do, I'll talk about other different ways that you can graph a line. So I'm going to go ahead and draw, oops, need the thinner one. Draw a jankety XY plane here. It's not straight, but whatever. Remember the x-axis is the horizontal one going left to right. The y-axis is the vertical one going up and down. If we have the equation, for example, let's pick an equation. I'll say y is equal to -1/2 x plus 4. And then there's going to be two things that we're going to look at. First thing first is our b. So this is our y-intercept. I'm going to go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, and go ahead and put a dot right there at y is equal to 4. The second thing we're going to do is look at our slope, right? This is -1/2. A couple of things. We know that negative means that it should be going downward like this, right? As we look at the graph, because positive is upward, 0 is flat like that, and undefined is the straight up and down one. I'll talk about those again in 1 second. So we're going to go ahead and from our y-intercept at 1, we're going to go down 1. That's the, remember, we are looking here at our slope, -1/2. That's rise over run. So the y change, I'm going to apply the negative there. And then with our slope, we're going to go to the right 2. So it's going to go down 1 to the right 2. And we're going to put our next point oh, well, let's see what I can do. We're going to put our next point right there. Down 1 to the right 2, right there. And we'll just go ahead and draw the line. Like that. And that'll be the line for our graph. A couple of things, you can always make a table, right? So like, for example, if we had made a table here, I'll go ahead and make a little table down below. Oops, let's use the thinner one. You can plug in whatever numbers you want. Plugging in 0 is always nice. Plugging in 0, 0 times 1/2 is 0, plus 4 is 4, which is a point that we actually have right there. If we have if we plug in 1, I don't like that. If we plug in 2, right? Plugging in 2, we get 2 times -1/2 is -1, plus 4 is 3. So if you'll see, that's actually our point that we have right there, 0.2, 3. And you can plug in, like, you could have done it that way in order to graph it. The other thing that we can do is we can always, like, sometimes if it's given in slope-intercept in standard form and not slope-intercept form, so let's say it's 2x minus 3y is equal to 12, right? You could, using the whole table idea, we can very easily find the x and the y-intercepts. If x is 0, then we just have negative 3y is equal to 12 because the x is 0, so divide both sides by negative 3. We get y is equal to negative 4. All right. So we'll go ahead and put negative 4 in for our table. And then we can do if y is 0. So very similarly, that means that we won't have that negative 3y. So we'll just have 2x is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 6. So we can go ahead and put that in our table. And then we would just use that to graph. Let me go ahead and show you. Let's draw a little graph in here somewhere. Where can I sneak it in? Let's just do it right. I need my dividing line though, because or else I'll be confused. Nice, I'm just going to sneak it over here to the right. So we'll go ahead and draw a little graph. And our y is at negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll go ahead and put a dot there at negative 4. Let me use my thicker one so you can see it better. There you go. And then we're going to go ahead. Sorry, excuse me. And put our x at 6, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll go ahead and put a dot there at 6. And then we just go ahead and draw the line connecting them like that. And again, you also could solve this for y and use the slope-intercept form that way, but you can always just use the x and the y-intercepts in the table. So those are two ways of graphing equations of lines. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was the different slopes. Remember, there's 4 different slopes. Let's go ahead and divide this. Whoops. I don't know what I did. Where did it go? I dragged it down somewhere and now it's disappeared. I can't find it. Maybe you can see it, but I cannot see it. Where did it go? I don't know. I cannot see anything. All right, whatever. I kind of figured something out that'll work. I'm not sure what happened. But let's go ahead and talk about the 4 different kinds of slopes. Again, there's a positive slope. There's a negative slope. There's a slope of 0. And a slope of undefined. Undefined. Did I show you guys that slope dude thing? I love that video. It's so stupid. All right, so, and then taking a look at what these will look like. I'll draw little graphs everywhere. I know they're ugly. Don't judge me. So the idea of a graph of positive is that it somehow goes like this, right? As you move from left to right, it's going up. In your slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, the m will be positive. Negative, same idea, it's going to be going down. 0 is flat. This is always going to have an equation y is equal to some number. Doesn't matter what number. The number just tells you where it's located on the y-axis, how far up and down it is. Very similarly, undefined looks like this. It goes straight up and down, and this equation is always going to be x is equal to some number. Doesn't matter what number, the number just tells you where it hits the x-axis, and it's going to be going straight up and down. That is it for my little spiel on graphing lines. If you have questions, please ask.